guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, I thought today's video would be about starting with the end in mind. It's one of the things that you've probably heard, but actually, how do you practically apply it? What does it really mean? Is it just more kind of corporate jargon? So I thought we'd kind of get stuck into what that means and actually really the importance of it in business. Starting with the outcome or the end in mind has always been something that I'm big on and strong on, is what exactly are we setting out to achieve. And this particular video will tie in quite a few of the other videos that you've heard me talk about. For those of you watching, go on 70%, what is an effective strategy and what does it look like and how do you roll it out. Actually, it's the culmination of those things and it's a number of stages. So ultimately, starting with the end in mind is we're at point A and we're effectively trying to get to point B, whatever it is. Point B might be launching the business, might be creating a new product, might be getting to a certain turnover. Point B could be anything. It's whatever the objective is. So realistically, when you start with the end in mind, number one, what is the objective?
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Where are you today? Point A. Where are you going to? Point B. There are a huge number, many hundreds, even thousands of things that have to happen from getting to A to B. In any scenario, in a work capacity, there's a huge volume of things because it's a very fluid situation in work. You can, if you want to get to something, say it was £30 million in turnover, and you're starting from a position of £5 million, that objective could take you years to get there. And there's so many things that need to align in order for that to happen. So always start with the end in mind. It's crazily easy to lose sight of that once you get going, but you don't go from A to B. In reality, there's lots of things along the way, but the best leaders, the best entrepreneurs remember that there is point B. Number two is take the objective and create the strategy that comes off the back of that. What is the way you're going to achieve getting to point B? Particularly if you're a big company, you're starting up here, and how do you disseminate the message and the strategy out to people so that they can move you on that journey? Because you've got to remember, as an entrepreneur, even if you're self-employed, it's never just you. Even if you're the only person in that business, to achieve your end outcome, you will need someone else at some point. They don't have to be employees, but there's going to be a customer. There's going to have to be a buyer. So you're never alone on this. Your strategy needs to be clear.
Let's go! Yeah, you gotta go.
When it is your company, or if you are the manager, once you have your strategy, go on 70%. Execute it. As I said in the other video, don't wait for perfect, don't wait for a 100%. Hit go and let's get going. Because remember, all this time you're the leader, you're the manager, you're the entrepreneur, you're trying to get people to point B. So go on 70% and don't hesitate. You've got the objective. You're at point A, you're going to point B. Number two, the strategy that comes off the back of the objective. Number three, go on 70%. Number four, actually put it into action. You've gone on 70%, we're up and running. But now, let's take stock. Are we moving in the direction that we actually said we wanted to go? Brilliant. If not, pivot slightly and keep going. Is the point where you pivot. invariably you've got it wrong. You're not always going in the direction that you thought you were, or you've learnt things along the way that have taught you something that you thought to be true but is no longer true, or the initial product that you thought you were designing is not quite right, and so you move in the other direction. I could give hundreds, if not millions, of examples. So you pivot and you move. Goal B is in mind. B is the big hairy goal. It's the part that you have got to strive to get to. And along the way, as I said at the beginning, you've got to try and compromise as little as possible in order to get there. 1, start with the objective. The objective gives you point B, you're at point A. Number 2, what is the strategy to achieve that? Number 3, you go on 70%. Let's start the journey, get moving. Number 4, you're putting it into action. All of the things you discussed, the strategy, you went on 70% and we're up and running now. Things are moving and we're getting going. Number 5, the pivot. It's not quite working here, but that bit's going great guns. Keep them going, chugging along, and then move them left, move them right, and let's go again. Number 6, you take stock then, because at this point the destination should be on the horizon. Is where we wanted to go still where we want to be? Because weeks, months, sometimes years may have passed from when you set off from point A to reach point B, and it comes back to what I keep saying: you're the leader, you're the entrepreneur, you're the motivator. At point number 6, you've gone, you're moving, you've pivoted. Is it still relevant? Is the destination you set out still relevant? Is that objective still what is necessary in the business? And if it is, at point 6 is where you go hard. Those last few inches, those last few miles, push like there's no tomorrow, but never lose sight of that end goal. Point 7 in this scenario is you've got there. You achieved the objective. You left from point A, you arrived at point B. The world is a beautiful place and you are loving life. Make sure you celebrate. Make sure you give the people that helped you on the journey, the staff that were with you on the journey, even yourself, that moment to kind of applaud what's been achieved. Because actually, achieving and delivering an objective successfully is a really difficult thing to do. Very easy said, very hard done. So if you arrive at point B and point B is still intact and it looks like what you anticipated it looking like, bask in it, not for long. Might be an hour, might be 2 hours, might be the popping of a champagne cork, it might be a party with the team, it might be a dinner, but make sure you take that moment to kind of say thank you and to acknowledge what's been achieved, because actually starting with the end in mind, you can then reaffirm that behaviour. How you got from A to B was a success, and make sure you reaffirm that in everybody's minds, because then you are putting it into their thought process that is how success is achieved, because you never truly reach your goal. Point B was one part of a much bigger strategy. We know that as leaders, we know that as entrepreneurs. So once you've arrived at point B, we're actually back at point A again, and what's the new point B? And we go again. And that's really the message for today. Start with the end in mind, but keep going. We go again, and we go again, and we go again, because that's what we do. So thanks as always, take care, have a good day, stay safe, all the best. Laters, bye.